What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I got to have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Happy Thanksgiving to all of those that celebrated. Thank you for continuing to tune in to another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show, because we do not miss under any circumstances. I don't care if it is a hurricane outside. I don't care what the heck is going on. Under no circumstances do we miss. What up, friends and family? Happy Thanksgiving. Salute to all of my friends and family that decided that they still wanted to tune into the Millionaire Morning Show, even though they may not be at work or they may not be doing anything important or they wanted to sleep in a little bit. We are still live streaming. And I'm going to be honest with you. I did not expect for it to be such a heavy news day. I mean, there was no shortage of things that I wanted to report on, so much so I had to put some stuff on the back burner and put it to the side, because I'm like, man, it is a busy news day. Even though the people are sleeping and they slumbering, I was down here. Obviously, you see me down here at the office, and we had the Thanksgiving Day parade on Woodward, so I just looked right outside of the window and I was looking at them at the Thanksgiving Day parade, and I'm chilling, and I'm working on my computer and I'm going through some of the things that are highlighted in my email for me to pay attention to, and I'm like, man, it is a heavy news day on Thanksgiving of all days, Turkey Day. Y'all like Turkey Day? Y'all feeling some type of way about that? Y'all racist? Don't worry about it. We gonna get there. But anyways, like I said, we continue to do what we do. It does not matter what day of the week it is. We gonna rock out and we move according to what our purpose is, and we don't move according to how we feel. So how y'all feeling on this Turkey Day, this Thanksgiving Day? I know y'all keep trying to change all of the holidays into being whatever it is that you want it to be. Dan Sack says, Anton, you celebrate the pagan. Man, I don't know what the fuck y'all talk. Listen, I'm pretty sure the churches ain't open today, so we just gonna go ahead and say what we want. I don't know what y'all talking about, man. I'm out here working and all of this stuff, I have every opportunity that I get to be able to celebrate with friends and family that we don't normally get to celebrate. I'm going to be there. So y'all can do and feel however y'all want to feel about it. When my family is in town and they want to eat some good food and we want to party and do karaoke, we gonna have a good time. Now y'all can sit here and feel some type of way about it. I don't really care about what you think. We are going to continue to rock out, and we gonna get to the bag. Hey, I heard that the day after or the day before Thanksgiving, which one is it? The day after or the day before Thanksgiving is the biggest drinking day of the year. Is it the day before or the day after Thanksgiving? I think it's the day before, or it might be the day after. Got to be the day after because a lot of people are still working on the day before. But I heard the day after Thanksgiving is the biggest drinking day of the year. Is that true? All right, we're going to get to it. Let me go ahead and get started with the show. Let me acknowledge some of the early Cash Appers and Super Chatters. Couple different people that we want to acknowledge. Shout out to my dog, Mike, that dude that continued to hold me down even on a Thanksgiving. Thank you, my friend. Box Talks is in the building. Box Talks says, what's up, Anton? Got me from looking like a dusty to currently doing placement year abroad in Germany for economics and finances. Much love from the UK. Shout out to my people over there in the United Kingdom. If y'all not bag chasers, then feel free to make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, Teach Henley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Thank you, Teach, for continuing to sponsor what it is that we got going on. Y'all want to go ahead and get into it because we got to talk about Jamie Foxx. I want to break down that lawsuit. Jimmy Iovine, Cuba Gooding Jr., Eric Adams got a lawsuit filed against him within an hour ago. I think he done over there in New York. They saying that it was a possible terrorist attack over on the border. So much to go over, and we got to make sure that we get to it, all right? So, again, make sure you get that Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. And then also on top of that, Patreon. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Can I be an example for my people on that we never miss? Did y'all tune into the show last night? I thought that it was a very, 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 very entertaining show last night. Some of y'all might even still be at work. I got to get y'all through y'all shifts. I got to make sure that y'all taking care of business. I know bag chasers don't miss, so we got some fair weather and then we got some real ones. Carlos Darico says, thank you for not taking any days off and continuing to pour into us. I got to be the example. We got to get that back. Hey, shout out to the people that go into their job, especially on today, on a holiday, and they getting double time or triple time. I always used to look forward to holidays because it was an opportunity for me to be able to run a bag up. I'm going to try not to be before y'all long. Hopefully, I can get y'all out a little bit earlier than usual, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Shout out to Love C, says she laughed so hard. If y'all did not look at the show from last night, make sure y'all bookmark it and check it out after the show, all right? Let's go ahead and get started so we can get y'all cooking. Make sure you have me on the TV. Make sure you put me on the radio. Make sure you put me on Apple Play. Make sure you put me on Android Auto. Wherever it is that you at, go ahead and turn the volume up so that I can add some value into y'all life, and hopefully you can get a level of entertainment along with it. Y'all ready to get started with the show? All right, let's get started with the show. Quick hits, ladies and gentlemen. Quick hits is a segment of the show that we usually do that I don't think that warrants a full segment, but we definitely want to keep you informed on what's going on out here in these streets. So without further ado, let me just go ahead and get straight to it. They say that it was a border explosion between the New York and Canadian border. Now, when this was initially reported, they thought that it was a terrorist attack. But as more information comes out, they saying that it may not be so. Let me share with you the details.
Breaking news on the vehicle explosion at Niagara Falls Rainbow Bridge. Eamon Javers has the details. Eamon.
Mike, WNBC's Jonathan Dienst has obtained exclusive video now of the incident at the U.S.-Canada border in Niagara Falls. Take a look at these images. We're going to play it a few times here. You're looking at the very top of your screen, and what you're seeing moving from left to right here is a white vehicle coming into the Border Patrol area at a very high rate of speed. It hits some sort of barrier there and then goes completely airborne. You see higher maybe than that guard hut there. The perspective can be a little bit off here, but that is a vehicle. You can imagine the speed that vehicle must have in order to get that airborne. And what we're told happened just after this clip ends is that the vehicle then hits the Customs and Border Protection guard area, bursts into flames, and then explodes. We're now told that there are 2 dead in this incident, 2 confirmed dead, and those are the occupants of that vehicle. Still unclear here, Mike, what the intent was here, if any, and authorities, as you can imagine, are pursuing that. We also know that at this time, the airport in Buffalo is now closed. Authorities are keeping a lookout for any other suspicious activity. The mayor of New York has said that he has sent NYPD officers to Buffalo to assist in this investigation. We'll see what more details come in the hours to come. We also know that the White House says that the president has been briefed and is monitoring the situation. So
new details emerged, and I'm going to read to you a couple different articles because there's new information to share with you guys. As of late last night at 2:23 a.m. Eastern, they said that the FBI said late Wednesday night that they have concluded their investigation into the fiery car crash at the U.S.-Canada border near Niagara Falls that claimed the lives of a husband and a wife from the western part of New York. So they were confirmed to be deceased. They posted in a statement online that they found no evidence of any explosives or connections to any terrorist groups. Video from the border security camera shows a white car speeding towards the Rainbow Bridge, crossing the border, hitting the curb, and then flying up in the air and twisting sideways. All right. The car crashed and burst into flames just east of the main Niagara Falls border checkpoint. Then all of a sudden they seen black smoke, then fire. There was no explosion, just black smoke. And they couldn't believe what they were seeing. And this happened about 11:30 a.m. Wednesday Eastern Standard Times. Security concerns prompted officials to shut down 3 other New York border crossings for several hours. Even here in Michigan at the Detroit-Canada border crossing, they had shut that down or they put them on high alert. The governor later announced that there was no evidence that there was a terrorist attack. So this is what they are saying really happened, right? They said that the dude was a Kiss fan, and it was not a terrorist attack. It was just a vehicle crash. Y'all got to hear this out. It was a 56-year-old man who had traveled to Ottawa to attend a Kiss concert. A 56-year-old man that had traveled to Canada in order to attend a Kiss concert. All right? They said the Kiss Tuesday night concert in Ottawa was canceled at the last minute after Paul Stanley fell ill. The man and his wife instead spent their evening at a local casino, according to CNN. They also went on to say that CNN is reporting that the driver of the vehicle that Foxx had claimed was full of explosives initially was a 56-year-old man who lived in a very upscale area that had intended to go to the concert, and he was driving a $300,000 Bentley with his wife, and that there is no survivors. That is very, very unfortunate. It was a $300,000 Bentley. Him and his wife had went over to the casino after the Kiss concert got canceled, and then they got into this fiery accident. So who knows? It could have been an accident. Somebody could have lost a lot of money at the casino. Maybe they fell asleep on the road. We don't know. There's no way for us to be able to tell what happened, but it is very unfortunate that this happened. So we have to pray for the family and the friends of the people that are affected by this accident, because we never want to see somebody die that is taxpaying citizens that's taking care of business that just went to go to a Kiss concert. You know what I'm saying? In other news, they're saying that the teens that were accused in the deadly beating of the Las Vegas classmate identified as possible gang members.
Well, police say they are seeking one final person of interest, all in the beating death of the Rancho High School student Jonathan Lewis. The teen in these photos, this is the 10th person they're looking for since the attack earlier this month.
It comes after 4 other teens were formally charged as adults in the killing. And while facing a judge today, the 16 and 17-year-old...
Hold on. Baby girl is kind of thick on the right. Somebody give me the Instagram profile of whoever it is that this lady is on the right. She kind of thick in the hips, thick in the waist. I don't know what it is. Thick in the waist, slim in the hips. Is that what it is? She look a little older, but, you know, interesting. Let's stay focused, y'all. Let's stay focused.
Learned they're being accused of second-degree murder. 5 more teens are also in custody.
Fox 5's Shana Kalafi shares more from today's hearing.
As a result of what these 4 men today and the 5 that are still down in juvenile court did, somebody lost their life.
A total of 9 suspects now in custody for the murder of 17-year-old Jonathan Lewis, who died after a brutal beating in an alley near Rancho High School on November 1st.
That family was shattered, and then all the other families and their lives have been shattered as well. So it's a sad day that all this happened.
4 of those suspects were in court Tuesday facing adult charges of...
Look at homie right here. Ain't no faster way for you to get life without parole or 15 to life than to come to court looking like this. Anton, no stereotype. Let me tell you something. There is no faster way to get yourself in jail than to come to court looking like this. Let's continue.
Second-degree murder and conspiracy to commit battery with substantial bodily harm.
I believe there have to be consequences. People make choices. And based upon their choices, there needs to be consequences and punishment.
The judge said the 4 16 and 17-year-old suspects charged as adults will be housed in juvenile custody, awaiting their next hearing on December 14th.
So, this is what's being reported as we see, and Anton has conversations about how the culture is so trash. They say that some of the teens accused in a deadly beating of 17-year-old high school student could be gang members associated with the gangs known as Young Rich Team. Listen to these gangs that they're a part of. Young Rich Team, Murder Block, and 2100 Block. Let me say that again for the people that's in the back. Murder Block, Young Rich Team, and 2100 Block. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm no Vegas expert, but Vegas was built in a desert, and then we threw some lights up, we threw some casinos up, and it was largely ran by the mob. Where could they have possibly gotten the names of Murder Block, Young Rich Team, and 2100 Block in order to name themselves as a part of the gangs? Where could they have possibly got that from? I'm just curious. Is it the culture? So, just to continue to get this and put the cap on this, Rancho High School student Jonathan Lewis was declared brain dead on November 7th, nearly 1 week after the November 1st beating that left him unconscious in a black alley near the school. Don Troll, listen to yo people that got arrested. Don Troll Beaver, 16. Gianni Robinson, 17. Damian Hernandez and Travion Randolph, 16, all charged as adults, as currently waiting. Here, let me go ahead and give you the full picture. These are the people that are being charged. These are the people that's being charged. Shout out to the culture. They're all being charged with second-degree murder, formally charged with second-degree murder and conspiracy to commit battery with substantial bodily injury Tuesday morning. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, millennials say they need to earn $500,000 a year in order to be happy, which is nearly 4 times as much as other generations. You know, the interesting thing about this article when I was reading it and came across my desk is that I remember at a time where somebody had reported, or it was largely believed, that anything you make over $70,000 no longer substantiated any other feelings of happiness. You got no more dopamine. There was nothing else that came along with anything else once you made it past $70,000 a year. That used to be the number. I don't know if anybody ever remember that. They used to say it was $70,000 that you needed. Anything above $70,000, you no longer got any additional dopamine hits, and that you felt nothing more, or there was no other euphoric feelings that you got as a result of making more than $70,000. But they saying, according to a new poll of around 2,000 people from financial services company Empower, in conjunction with the Harris poll, which found Americans believe they need to earn just over $284,000 a year to be happy. It says currently the median household in the U.S. earns around $74,000 a year, according to Empower's survey. Had a median salary of $65,000. A true number needed to be happier, maybe smaller than that. Estimates of what's needed are all relatively similar across all generations, clocking in between $124,000 to $130,000 for Generation Z. Gen X and baby boomers, except for millennials and outliers, say they needed about $525,000 a year, driving up the average. And while the jump from the median income to $284,000 may seem large in order for somebody to be happy, there are also variations. So millennials are saying that they need at least, I am considered a geriatric millennial. I am on the very, very tail end of it. I don't really get into these whole conversations of what you are. I just know that the OGs, the Generation X, the boomers of yesteryear, they failed us. But millennials are largely saying that they need at least $250,000 a year. I'm sorry, $284,000 a year in order to be happy. All right. So a lot of people say money can't buy happiness. Millennials obviously think otherwise. And that is your quick hits, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Quick Hits is a segment of the show that I don't think warrants a deeper dive, but we do want to keep you guys informed on what's happening out here in these streets, and then we're going to go from there. Let me go ahead and read some of the super chats, and then we're going to get started with the show. Carlos Daruco says, thank you for not taking any days off and continuing to pour into us. Got to be the example. Got to be the example. Thank you for continuing to hold me down. My dog Jay Ben says, big triple time right now, bag getter. Hey, get that money and I'm going to help you get through your shift too, big dog. JP07 says, AD, please get Young Deity signed to a 360 deal. Oh, I don't know. You might try to sue me. Qbert Rain says, peace and blessings, AD and the Chasers heading to work to do this double, making triple time money both today and tomorrow. That's 10 bands in a week. Chasers, we up. Hashtag back Chasers. 30 million, man. If y'all have not joined the Patreon, make sure you tap in. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's go ahead and get started with the show, y'all. All right, so some people may or may not be familiar with this guy. Before we get into the whole Jamie Foxx, Eric Adams, and all of these dudes that's catching these lawsuits, shout out to Amify. I appreciate you. He is an ex-Obama aide that is being accused and has been arrested of harassing vendors in New York. And he is being accused of being called an Islamophobe. Now, I did not know that there was a such thing as an Islamophobe, but apparently his name is Stuart Seldowitz. Stuart Seldowitz, an ex-Obama aide. Well, let me see. Hold on. Let me make sure that I got this right. He's an ex-Obama aide, former National Security Council chief, denied he is an Islamophobe guy after being seen harassing a halal cart vendor on the Upper East Side and asking him if he busts down his own daughter. I have not seen the video. We're going to share it with you right now. Hopefully it's not too egregious. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started, y'all.
Tonight, an arrest in the case of viral video showing a man spewing hate at a halal cart worker in Manhattan. CBS 2's Alice Gaynor shows us it happened on the Upper East Side.
64-year-old Stuart Seldowitz was arrested Wednesday, charged with a hate crime, stalking, and harassment. Police say the former national security official is the one seen in several cell phone videos going on hateful rants at the Adam Halal food cart on 83rd and 2nd Avenue.
And we're going to put big signs here that say this guy believes in Hamas. You're a terrorist. You support terrorism. Listen. If we killed 4,000 Palestinian kids, you know what? It wasn't enough.
Okay. I may be a little bit slow. Hopefully I'm not that slow. You are a known guy, President Barack Obama's former National Security Council chief. You're not even just a regular guy. You know you're being recorded on the cell phone. And you say some wild stuff. Look. Hold on. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's Obama's former National Security Council chief. How do y'all get these jobs? Where do you get your clearance from? How are you able to advise the president considering some of the vile stuff that come out of y'all? Listen, I know that there's some evil people in this world, but I didn't know that y'all be so forthcoming with what it is that you're going to say. Jesus Christ. Hold on one second. Let me back up for one more second.
Food cart on 83rd and 2nd Avenue.
And we're going to put big signs here that say this guy believes in Hamas. You're a terrorist. You support terrorism. Listen. If we killed 4,000 Palestinian kids, you know what? It wasn't enough.
Hold on. I've seen some wild stuff be said in my day. What the F is going on out here in these streets, man? Have we just gone back as crazy all the way across the board? Honestly, I'm just curious. Have we just went all the way crazy? And I'm not even tripping about it. You know why? You know why I'm not tripping about it? Because I want people to say exactly what they think. I want for people to transfer their reservation from saying what they think in person, and they usually say it online behind some kind of avatar that you don't really know who they are, and they be in the chat going crazy. I want online conversation to be translated and for that to really be happening in real life so we can see who is saying what and what people really think. That's crazy. And they caught it on camera. Don't y'all know that cameras is everywhere, that people be secretly recording? Don't you know that the chick, that's your side chick, took a picture of you when she was with you and you didn't even know that she took a picture of you? You fell asleep next to her and she was taking pictures of you just for future evidence, just in case they do the Survivors Act later on in the year, like they just did Eric Adams and Jamie Foxx and Diddy and all of them. Yo, that's crazy.
24-year-old Muhammad Hussein, whose boss translates for him, says Seldowitz was not a customer, but came over to ask him where he was from. And when he replied Egypt,
the guy started telling him, you're supporting Hamas.
So Hussein started filming. The video does not show the initial encounter. CBS New York tried repeatedly to get in contact with Seldowitz, who alleged to other news outlets that Hussein said he supported what Hamas did. And that's what got him so upset, a claim Hussein denies.
We would rather if he came and apologized instead of him trying to flip the story.
We have no problem with nobody. Don't try to create problem. People could die for something like this.
Yasser Nawar is part owner of the cart and says he doesn't understand why Seldowitz would keep showing up to try and provoke a reaction amongst heightened tensions over the conflict in the Middle East.
I don't know what you're trying to do, what you're trying to say. Situation is very irritated anyway. We don't need more spice in the situation.
But what happened here has seemingly only brought people together.
We have mostly Jewish customer in this building. This lady and this lady make cake for us last night.
Neighbors set up a table next to the cart, encouraging people to sit down and eat together.
They're really wonderful people, and they care about the community that they're in, and they certainly don't deserve this.
On the
That's crazy. That is crazy. Honestly, I just think that this is crazy. I don't know what world we living in where the Barack Obama's former National Security Council chief. That's a lot of words. What does a Security Council chief do? What does a Security Council chief do? All right, so let me go through the article. Harassing a vendor, ask him if he grapes his daughter. Stuart Seldowitz, 64, admitted that it's probably me in the viral video. Jesus Christ. God, what's wrong with these people? Shared to social media as he offered a half-hearted apology. He said, if I had to do it all over again, I would not have raised the religious aspect. So he's not apologetic about what he said. He's just apologetic about the fact that he brought it back to religion. He says, I don't think I'm an Islamophobic guy. I've spoken up for equal treatment of Muslims on numerous occasions with numerous different people. He added that he regrets the whole thing happened and that he's sorry. He went on to say, but you know, in the heat of the moment, I said things that probably shouldn't have been said. The former White House official is accused of harassing a street vendor on the corner of East 83rd Street and 2nd Ave for nearly 2 weeks. So that's why they wound up pulling out the camera. They pulled out the camera because they were so used to this guy pulling up to him, and they didn't even know that he was former President Barack Obama's Security Council chief. So this dude had been going back and forth for 2 weeks. Okay, something else is missing here. Something else is missing here. Real talk. Something else is missing here. It can't be that he been going back and forth for 2 weeks and saying wild stuff, because I'm sure he said a bunch of wild stuff that it wasn't caught on camera. Somebody's pissed off somebody, or something happened, or he got something spilled in his milk and he tripped over somebody and he wound up following him over there to this cart and it went negative. That's crazy. He appeared to be wearing different clothes in the clips, which appeared to be filmed at different times of the day. So he went and changed his clothes and came back and said, I said what I said. In the video posted to social media, Seldowitz, who worked as a deputy director and senior political official or officer in the U.S. State Department's Office of Israel and Palestine Affairs in the early 2000s. Let me say that again. He worked as a deputy director, senior political officer in the U.S. State Department's Office of Israel and Palestinian Affairs in the early 2000s, threatens to send a photo of the vendor to his friends in immigration and Egypt's security services, who he said would torture him when they deport you back to Egypt. Sheesh. Now that's the dude to be scared of. He said, did you grape your daughter like Muhammad did? He asked the vendor after snapping a photo of him and laughing as the footage shows. The street vendor tells Seldowitz that he does not speak English, seemingly to get him to leave, but instead the ex-political aide berates the man, telling him he's ignorant and that's why he works at a food cart. In another clip, Seldowitz holds an Israel pinup to the window of the halal cart and asks the vendor if he has a permit and visa, as the vendor repeatedly asks him to leave. He said, you support killing young children. Seldowitz tells him, claims that the vendor supports Hamas. He says, you killed children, not me. Go. I didn't kill children. If we killed 4,000 Palestinian kids, it wasn't enough. Talk about making your former employer look bad. That's pretty bad. I don't even, there's no way that you can defend that. There's no way that you can stand on that. There's nothing that you can say to make you feel good as a result of it. Yeah, you had it coming, big dog. You had it coming. And they caught you on camera saying it too. That's a lot of hate in your heart. You done seen a lot of things, and you threaten to have somebody tortured as they being deported too. So that's what's happening out there in the streets of New York. Let me read a couple of the super chats, and then we're going to continue over with the show. In ATL, $150,000 a year is what's needed to be needed for a good area. We changed up, huh? Brian Turner says, just know you're appreciated, bro. Thank you, Brian Turner, for supporting me. Tech Coach Ralph is in the building. Shout out to Tech Coach Ralph. Says he previously served as the deputy director for the U.S. State Department Office of Israel and Palestinian Affairs. Is crazy. I agree, bro. All right, let's continue to roll over with the show. Let's get into the deep part. So as I was live streaming last night, somebody sent in the chat and they said, Anton, or they sent the super chat and they said, Anton, are you going to respond to all of the lawsuits? And I said, what lawsuits are you referring to, my sir, my friend? And he said, all of the lawsuits against all of the celebrities. And I said, let me do a quick Google search. And so I did a Google search and it said Jamie Foxx, Axl Rose, Cuba Gooding Jr. It was a bunch of people. Jimmy Iovine. It said a bunch of people. And Eric Adams was not on the list, interestingly enough, because I wasn't expecting for any politician to be on the list. Eric Adams has his hands full. Eric Adams is fighting the people that's revolting against him for his budget cuts. He was a sanctuary city, and now he ain't a sanctuary no more. He getting accusations against Turkey officials and forcing different things and possible indictments or whatever like that. And then as I'm getting the show prepared about an hour before we go live today, I go to my local news and I see that within 45 minutes of starting this show, Eric Adams also had a lawsuit filed against him for sexual assault based off of the Survivors Act. Let's get into it. Before we get into Jamie Foxx, we're going to get into Eric Adams. First, let me bring y'all up to speed of what's happening with Eric Adams as it relates to his current accusations of misconduct within the state of New York's offices.
Mayor Adams has set up a legal defense fund amid the corruption investigation into his 2021 campaign. The fund will be monitored by the city's Conflict of Interest Board, which is an independent agency. According to the board, city employees are allowed to set up legal defense funds to raise money to pay for certain legal bills. Mayor Adams has not been accused of any wrongdoing. The FBI is investigating the mayor's campaign financing and its possible ties to the Turkish government.
Mayor Adams has set up a legal defense fund, and this is before he was even accused and had a lawsuit that was pending against him. Kumo has some things to say about him. Let me share that with you before we deep dive into the actual accusations of Eric Adams.
You know how they say it's not the crime, it's the cover-up? That is very often true because that's how investigators develop an understanding that you knew you did something wrong. A new report out today details a possible cover-up by a close aide to New York City's Mayor Eric Adams. All right? How'd we get here? Early November, massive federal corruption probe into Mayor Eric Adams' campaign comes out of nowhere. Nobody had heard anything about it. The feds are investigating what? Whether his staffers and the mayor were on the take from a foreign government, Turkey. Days after the raids, and there were a lot of raids, okay, the FBI goes up to Adams at a public event and takes his phone and other devices. So now we learn about this, right? His lawyers deny any wrongdoing. The mayor starts a defense fund. And his lawyers then say someone did act improperly. And they wind up throwing a staffer under the bus. Now, I don't mean that cynically. I'm saying that Rana Abasova winds up being offered up by the administration, okay? She is the longtime aide. She was the one working with Turkey. We also learned that Abasova was searched by the FBI and that she had reportedly lied to investigators. And then we learned that she told colleagues to delete potentially incriminating text messages, and that is what Adams found out about, and that is what they told the FBI, and yet, and this part doesn't make sense, that's why the FBI seized his phones.
Now, the question that we first have to ask ourselves is, on this Thanksgiving Day, I see y'all in the chat with the jokes about the Turkey Day, right? The first question that we have to ask ourselves is, because again, we know that being in a position of power, and again, I don't believe even for 1 second that all of these officials that are jockeying for and raising money for and spending literally millions and billions of dollars in advertising and campaign in order to get a $250,000, $300,000 job as the mayor of a city or to become president of the United States or to become senator and Congress members, they will literally have budgets that exceed millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions and even into the billions spent to become president, senator, congressperson, governor, mayor, city council person, etc., etc. And if you also notice, the overwhelming majority of all of these members that are a part of and are of elected officials are all practically rich. They have a net worth in the millions. So me with my C student degree, thank you, Quick Octane, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Me with my C student degree, I'm always trying to figure out where it comes back down to them really jockeying for position in order to have a lifetime position and being in the Senate, Congress, mayor, or whatever office, right? Because there are no term limits for most of these positions. What incentive do you have to become an elected official? You get an intense amount of scrutiny. They go through your life with a fine-tooth comb. You are then subjected to discovery when it comes to whether or not you spending the budget right or you doing things correctly. And then every single time they throw us clues and they say, well, listen, this guy is advocating for and pushing for something or someone over in the Turkish government to be able to secure property or do whatever, right? This person is advocating for or pushing contracts without a bid over, and it's millions and tens and hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars of government money and taxpayer money is being siphoned out over into these organizations, and nobody tripped. Nobody raises a finger. Nobody has any alarms go off. The president of the United States of America make like $500,000 a year, but they spend billions and billions and billions of dollars in order to get these people elected. Okay, how does that make sense? How does that make sense? Right? Why is somebody so gung-ho about taking on a position, especially with public scrutiny, for so little money compared to what they can get in the private sector, considering what it is that they would make based off of their expertise and all of that, right? And so I'm always trying to figure that out. And then when I go through something like this, right, and Como is breaking down exactly what the chain of events is from November 2nd, and we not even towards the end of the month, in less than 30 days, the government and the FBI is raiding and they throwing people under the bus. They deleting text messages. They pulling his cell phone and his iPads in the middle of the street without even waiting till he get back to his office. And they taking his stuff. And then all of a sudden, he's starting to put together a defense fund in order to make sure that nothing happens to him. But that's not all. That's not all, ladies and gentlemen. Let's back up for a minute and let's deep dive, because as of yesterday, let me make sure that I get my article together. As of yesterday, and I just seen that this morning. You got to check out the headlines. And then this morning at 10:11 a.m. Eastern, which the show starts at 11 a.m. Eastern, but as of 10:11 a.m. published on multiple different platforms, reputable Foxx, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, you name it, they published it less than 45 minutes prior to the start of this show. I just so happen to look up and I say, oh, wait a minute, Eric, not only are you being accused of and being investigated with regard to how it is that you're leveraging your public office in order to continue to reign in and reign supreme, you're also being accused, according to the Survivors Act, similar to how Diddy was being accused, of a 1993 sexual assault. You cannot make this up. This is breaking news. Nobody, and there's no articles on it as far as on YouTube. I am literally the first person to report this on this platform. Let me deep dive into it for you and give you the details. It says Mayor Eric Adams has been accused of a 1993 sexual assault in a legal action filed in New York City court, according to a report from The Messenger. The woman allegedly filed a summons Wednesday night. Now, you got to remember that the Survivors Act expires today on Turkey Day. It expires today on Turkey Day. On Wednesday night in the state Supreme Court under New York authority or under New York's Adult Survivors Act that names Adams, the NYPD, and two unknown entities as defendants. Went on to say that Adams was a police captain. He'd been getting money for a long time. According to the filing, the two were working for the city at the time. He and the girl that's accusing him. Yo, imagine getting accused from 30 years ago. 30 years ago, he was a police captain. It's 2023. And in 1993, they saying that you was out there with your hands out there in the cookie jar. In a statement given to Fox 5 NY from City Hall, a spokesperson said the mayor does not know who this person is. Do y'all remember all of the chicks that y'all bust down from 30 years ago? Allegedly. Says if they ever met, he doesn't recall it, but he would never do anything to physically harm another person and vigorously denies the claim. The summons is a precursor to a complaint that will be laid out in detail of the alleged assault. The Adult Survivors Act took effect in 2022 and expires at midnight yesterday. It eliminated the statute of limitations for sex abuse accusers to file a lawsuit. So Eric Adams is literally under assault. It's coming at him from every angle. And now I see why he's setting up a defense fund. Eric Adams is under duress right now, if you were to ask me. He got his hands full. Cardi B coming for him as far as him cutting the budget and 5% of the budget and millions of dollars that's affecting the police, sanitation, and schools across other agencies. He's being accused of misconduct when it came to giving favors, and then ex-aides is getting raided, and it's a lot of raids going on out there. He set up the defense fund, and then just to put the cherry on top, some hussy from 1993 said that we're going to leverage the very law that was filed in your state of New York in order to accuse you 30 years ago of feeling on my booty. My booty. Woo! Oh my gosh. Let me read a couple of these super chats and then we're going to get into the whole Jamie Foxx conversation, because I did not expect to be doing this on a Turkey Day and going into this deep of a dive on what is going on. This Survivors Act is just really rocking the nation, ain't it? Sober Gang Experience says, happy Thanksgiving, big homie. Shout out to you, big dog. I appreciate you. Says this Mr. Show Out TV. Shout out to Mr. Show Out TV. I'm ready for a bag chaser and level up. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Thank you, my friend. Quick Octane is in the building. Says, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy y'all day. Enjoy the day. Shout out to Quick Octane. Thank you, my friend, for contributing into the platform. Let's go into the real thing that we all really came here for. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. Jamie Foxx said, what did I do? Jamie Foxx just got out of the hospital. We was just trying to figure out whether or not Jamie Foxx was being paralyzed or whether it was the jab that had got to him and that was affecting his life when he allegedly had got sick on a set of a movie set and then he had to put his career on hold in order to try to recover. Jamie said, what'd I do? Jamie has played his role in everything that's happened throughout society. He dressed up like Wanda. He did some good movies. He did Ray. And then he did some bad movies. One of them was Whitney Along. I ain't forgot. That one where he was a cop. And Cassie then went ahead and messed up all of the money. All of the money. Blame Puff. Blame Puff. Blame Puff. Blame P. Diddy. I think it's Diddy's fault. I don't think that it's Jamie's fault. I think it's Diddy's fault. Let me bring you up to speed of what's happening with Jamie, and then we're going to go through the 15-page document.
The window is closing for New Yorkers.
That's what it was called. It was called bait.
That took place
it was called
the
bait.
Usual statute of limitations. The Adult Survivors Act is set to expire this week. Fox 5's Linda Schmidt live in our newsroom with more on this. Linda.
Yeah, hi there, Teresa. Well, first of all, tonight, the law has given survivors of sexual abuse the right to file civil lawsuits in the past year for alleged abuse that happened in some cases decades ago. And some of these cases have been filed against Donald Trump, movie mogul Harvey Weinstein, hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs, and tonight, actor Jamie Foxx. E. Jean Carroll used the Adult Survivors Act to win a $5 million civil lawsuit against former President Donald Trump, accusing him of sexual assault and suing him for defamation. Disgraced New York gynecologist Robert Haddon was sentenced to 20 years in prison in July for sexually abusing some patients. Last month, hundreds more filed suit using the New York law. Just last week, hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs settled a lawsuit with R&B singer Cassie after she claimed Combs raped and abused her. And now, actor Jamie Foxx has been accused in a civil lawsuit of sexually assaulting a woman in New York City back in 2015. These high-profile cases and thousands more are the result of Governor Hochul signing the act into law 1 year ago.
Yeah, shout out to our female governors that said that no stone will go unturned in making sure that we hold these gentlemen accountable. Your female governor said that New York stands with survivors, but never did you think that it was going to affect you. We don't know who's telling the truth. We don't know who's telling a lie. But the one thing that we do know, and two things is for certain, is that it's affecting everybody over there in New York. If you was over in New York at any time in your life before Turkey Day, you had another thing coming. You didn't think it was going to affect you. You just thought that you had a good time. You were shaking and moving and having a good time, and she was there for it or whatever, or at least you thought so. And so they said that, no, hold on. Back in 1993, I vaguely remember, this is what happened to the people. Back in 1993, I remember, this is what happened to the people.
Giving survivors an opportunity for justice.
They want history to reveal what happened to them. They don't want their abusers to get away with it.
Attorney Megan Goddard represents multiple women. The Adult Survivors Act also goes after corporations, businesses, and organizations that cover up for the alleged abusers. But the special legislation expires this week. Goddard wants Albany to extend it.
There's people who are calling me this week who just found out about it for the first time.
They are trying to get this whole thing, they trying to remix the law. It expired last night at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And they are, listen. I try to tell you guys, before we get into this whole Jamie Foxx situation, I keep telling y'all that no one man is above the group. Y'all keep throwing each other under the bus and saying, hey, that's his problem. That's his problem. Anybody can be accused. Anybody can say anything that they want. Listen, what evidence do you have from 1993 that would substantiate that something did happen, and why are you taking so long in order to say it? Listen, there is no one man that can stand above the group, because what happens to one happens to all, and they band together to continue to do the thing that's in their best interest, talking about they just now found out about the law for them to be able to get some money in a lawsuit. So you didn't miss what happened to you in reporting it. You just now figured out that you can get some money as a result of it. Okay. Let's continue.
After Sean Combs was sued, they're living in Florida or California or Missouri or wherever. They don't know what's going on in New York. They didn't hear about this law.
A penthouse model is now suing Guns N' Roses.
We gonna get there. We gonna stop right here, and we gonna get to Guns N' Roses. Don't worry about it. We gonna get there. Let's go into this Jamie Foxx lawsuit. It's not as long as the one that was filed against Diddy. Cassie said, I'm coming for everything when she went against Diddy. Diddy one was 35 pages. This one is 15. I think that we can get through it fairly quickly in order to emphasize what Jamie Foxx is being accused of. It says, to the above named defendants who are Jane Doe, so they don't even have to identify what their name is, against Eric Marlon Bishop. So a lot of people are not familiar with the idea that Jamie Foxx is not his real name. It's Eric. Shout out to Eric Bishop, a.k.a. Jamie Foxx. Catch NYC and Roof, the business that he allegedly did it in. Catch NYC Incorporated, Mark Burnham. Catch Hospitality Group, 25 9th Avenue Corporation, LLC. Yeah, names being fictitious intended for unknown names of the staff and other defendants. All right, so let me go ahead. You're hereby being summoned to answer this complaint and action served on your behalf. Let's go down to the good stuff. Those are all of the people. Jamie Foxx out there in Ventura, California. Come on, fly back to New York and come get this work. That's what she said. That upon information and belief that at all times relevant hereto, defendant Eric Marlon Bishop, a.k.a. Jamie Foxx, was and still is a resident of Ventura, California, Ventura County, state of California. In 2015, so they're alleging that this took place on or about on August 26, 2015, at a rooftop lounge and bar located on 21 9th Avenue in New York. All right, let's go down. They name all of the defendants, conducting business, proper unsafe manner. Cool. Let me go down. See, we're going to be able to skip through most of this. Man, most of this is just naming the defendants. All right, statement of the facts. This is what we want to get to. This matter is filed timely as it is brought pursuant to the Adult Survivors Act, and this is the reason that they filing it. It said, notwithstanding any provision of the law which imposes a period of limitation to the contrary and the provisions of any other law pertaining to the filing of a notice of claim or a notice of intention to file a claim as a condition precedent to commencement of an action or special proceeding, every civil claim or cause of action brought against any party alleging intentional or negligent acts, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's get to the real stuff. The defendant's actions described herein all occurred when a plaintiff was over 18 years old and brought within the time frame of the Adult Survivors Act. On or about August 25th, 2015 at 11 p.m., the plaintiff and a friend, Jamie Foxx, arrived at 21 9th Avenue for the purpose of getting seats at a rooftop lounge and bar. Upon being seated, the plaintiff noticed the defendant, Mark Burnham, was seated, right? The person that is alleging that this happened to them, they noticed that Mark was seated one table away having drinks with the defendant, Eric Marlon Bishop, a.k.a. Jamie Foxx. And not long after being seated, the plaintiff and her best friend or her friend observed a large crowd growing around Burnham and Fox's table. As a result, the defendants, Jane and John Doe's, began moving a crowd of patrons away, including nearly all of the patrons seated at the tables near them. So they at the rooftop. They noticed that the homie go over there and kicking it with Jamie Foxx, right? Jamie Foxx and them is having a good time, and they started to notice a crowd is starting to come around them. Despite being the only two remaining in the area, the plaintiff and her friend were never asked to move from their table located beside their table, Jamie Foxx's table. Okay, this is what's being alleged. They go on to say that at some point near approximately 1 a.m., so they out there for at least 2 hours, around 1 a.m. on August 27, 2015, after many patrons had left the area, the plaintiff's friend stood up from the table and walked over to Jamie Foxx and asked if he would take a picture with her. And then Jamie Foxx says, "Sure, baby, anything for you." Sure, baby, anything for you. And walked to the plaintiff's table. Several photographs were taken. They took a bunch of selfies. This is in 2015. All right. While taking the photographs, the plaintiff observed that Foxx seemed intoxicated, so he had been drinking all night, throwing them back. And at one point, he grabbed the plaintiff's phone out of her hand, and he took some more photographs. So he flicking it up, taking a selfie. Right. Jamie Foxx says, "Hey, let's get it in. Hey, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. We've been drinking, having a good time. Y'all looking cute, and y'all asked me to take some pictures. All right, blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. All right, so that's what Jamie Foxx did. It says Foxx roughly. Now, this is when we start to get to the caps. This is when we start to get to the capping. Foxx roughly grabbed the plaintiff's phone out of her hand and took additional photographs. So he beat you up for your phone when you the one that asked for the photographs. All right. Foxx then made several comments to the plaintiff, including, wow, you got that supermodel body. You smell so good. You look like Nicki. Now, I don't know who Nicki is, but 2015, who is Nicki? Who knows? He said when the plaintiff asked, who's Nicki? Foxx replied, Gabrielle Union. Then proceeded to grab the plaintiff by her arm and pull her back to the back area of the rooftop. So he grabbed her. She didn't willingly go, according to this. He said, you look like Nicki. And the plaintiff asked, well, who is Nicki? He said, Gabby Union. Wait a minute. You telling me that Jamie could have got with Gabby before Dwayne Wizzy? I don't know. So then he said he grabbed her arm after they went to, and he grabbed her over into the back area of the rooftop at over 1 o'clock in the morning. And then once more in a secluded area, Foxx placed both of his hands on the plaintiff's waist. And he said, blame it on the alcohol. Move them under the plaintiff's crop top and begin rubbing on your titties. He said, grabbed her hand, went over into the other side of the rooftop. Other people was out there. She never said anything or made a complaint. And then she let him grab on her waist, slim waist, pretty in the face, and start moving his hands up. And then start grabbing on them titties. This is what it's saying. I'm just reading what the complaint is alleging for the lawsuit that was filed against Jamie Foxx for her crop top. The plaintiff was caught off guard in the I'm sorry, give me a second, y'all. Let me gather. Plaintiff was caught off guard and attempted to step away. So she stepped with him, but now she's stepping away from him. She said, well, I don't even like Jamie Foxx. I've been listening to R. Kelly. Step, side to side. Turn around, break it down. And let me see you do the love slide. Step, side to side. She said, I don't even like Jamie Foxx. I listen to R. Kelly. I'm trying to step to the side. Step in the name of love. And then she says, plaintiff noticed the defendant, John Doe, a security guard of one of the defendants some distance away who saw what was happening, but walked further away. Foxx proceeded to slide his hands into the plaintiff's pants and put his fingers on and in the plaintiff's tush. So wait. He put it in the VV and the AA? Woo! So wait a minute. You tried to step, side to side. Jamie Foxx grabbed your hide, and then he put his hands down in your vajayjay, allegedly, and he went from the vajayjay back to the back of the back. And as this was happening, according to the report, plaintiff's friend walked over looking for the plaintiff, and Foxx stopped touching the plaintiff and walked over to where the defendant, John Doe, a security guard, was standing. Not touching on the Duke shoot. Rebuke the Duke shoot. He said that no negligence or intentional acts on the part of the plaintiff caused or contributed to the said heinous touching. Heinous. Look at that adjective. Heinous touching and sexual assault of the plaintiff. That by reason of foregoing, plaintiff was injured and rendered sick, sore, lame. Listen, dog, you cannot make this up. You got to look at what this is. Plaintiff was injured, rendered sick, sore, lame, and disabled, and had to undergo medical treatment and advice, was unable to pursue her usual and regular activities, was caused to undergo great conscious pain and suffering because he touched my tatas and my babas, and continues to undergo such and will permanently be affected by the injuries and this emotional distress she incurred as a result of the assault, abuse, assault, and battery. So you're telling me that Jamie Foxx didn't do nothing but touch you according to this lawsuit, and this has caused you to be permanently disabled and affected by the injuries, so much so to where you're lame and disabled, and you have to seek and undergo medical treatment for the rest of your life because you're permanently affected by the injuries and emotional distress she incurred as a result of the sexual assault, abuse, and assault and battery. I'm not here to say whether I believe it or not. I'm just here to break down the what's being alleged here and then let you guys determine for yourself how you feel about this whole thing, okay? That, as a result of the heinous acts, negligence, and gross negligence of the defendants as foresaid, plaintiff suffered and continues to suffer emotional distress, anxiety, humiliation, embarrassment, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other physical and emotional damages according to the file in the complaint that was levied against Jamie Foxx when he was on a rooftop of New York. But most importantly, the plaintiff is entitled to recover damages from the defendant in an amount that exceeds the monetary limit. Let me make sure that I read this correctly. In the amount that exceeds the monetary limit of all lower courts that would have jurisdiction over this matter, plus punitive damages. This cause of action falls within one or more of the exemptions set forth by CPLR 1602. The plaintiff repeats and realleges the allegations of paragraphs 1 through 47 as though same were fully set forth in the length therein. That on the night of August 25th, 2015, and into the early mornings of August 27th, 2015, and at all times herein mentioned, that defendant Foxx, operating through his position as a well-known celebrity, committed the heinous acts as set forth above, and these unlawful actions constitute a sexual assault and battery upon the plaintiff, as Foxx intentionally and without consent used force and offensively touched the plaintiff's person. And Foxx's action violated the New York Penal Law 130.52, 130.55, and 130.65. Foxx's actions were willful, wanton, and malicious, according to the plaintiff. And at all times described herein, Foxx consciously disregarded the plaintiff's rights and feelings and acted with the knowledge of or with reckless disregard. And for the fact that his conduct would cause the plaintiff to feel violated, humiliated, and would cause the emotional, mental injuries to plaintiff and would result in her enduring pain and suffering. I don't know how I can continue. Not like this. Not like this. And as a result of Foxx's conduct described herein, Plaintiff has suffered and continues suffering physical and emotional injuries, anxiety, distress, embarrassment, and economic harm. I don't know why. Hey, what is going on in these? And the plaintiff is claiming and is entitled to recover all applicable damages, including but not limited to damages for pain, suffering, economic loss, as well as punitive damages in an amount that exceeds the jurisdiction in all of the lower courts of the land. Okay? Now, I repeat and I reallege that the allegations in paragraphs 1 through 52, as though they were fully set forth at length therein. And everybody that was a part of it, the organization, Mark and all of them and all of the homies and everybody that has something to do with it, we want you to pay up. That's what they are saying. They remix this law so that they can make sure that they recover all of their pain and suffering damages. And according to the punitive laws, everything above whatever the lower courts can offer you, we need more than that. Okay? All right? How to observe when a patron such as Foxx has consumed an excessive amount of alcohol and should not be served anymore, and in otherwise ensuring the safety of their patrons from unwanted abuse, abusive sexual touching. Catch NYC and everybody else is at risk too. We want everything. We want it all. We want it all. Because I didn't even like him anyway. I was liking R. Kelly at the time. All right? And then the attorney goes on to say that he is verifying that this to be true, and he wants damages and lawyers' fees to go along with it to the tune of $1 trillion. All right? So that is what they are alleging that happened at the rooftop of Catch at 1 a.m. after only asking to take a picture. And then I'll leave it to you guys to be able to communicate to me what you think really happened in these streets. All right. Let me read a couple of the super chats and then we're going to continue on this Thanksgiving morning. All right. Blaze Skywalker says, I just think it's funny in the lawsuits. They don't say anything about women refusing or being against any type of sexual misconduct. That's what he said. Blaze is in the building. He came through with the 10 ball. 100% me says she looks like Gabrielle Union. I thought Jamie only dated hot women. Shout out to my guy 100% me. Stephen Slayer 1 says this BS has to stop with have any sexual assault accusation over 6 months. So if it's true, you got 6 more months to make the accusation with proof. They not doing that, big dog. They said that they gonna remix it because they want to extend this to be able to go after these people after Cassie did what she did. Janessa Tacoma says, Happy Thanksgiving, especially to Cassie and Jamie Foxx's accusers. The Gray Way is in the building, says, it's nothing about her saying no, stop, or that she tried to leave. Listen, we don't know how true this is at all. All we know is you can blame it on the alcohol. But you know what the interesting thing is about it? And I'm going to continue to read these super chats on this Thanksgiving. And listen, we got a bunch of people in here. I did not expect to have this level of an audience today. I did not expect to have all of you friends and family waking up on a Thursday Thanksgiving morning to be able to celebrate and have these conversations with us. I'm up here powering through this show, adding value into the people, trying to have a conversation, and I just got to thank y'all. Let me give yourselves a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Story time. Give yourselves a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Also, make sure you tap into the Patreon. We're doing a pitch your business on Sunday, the 26th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're there if you're trying to pitch a business and if you're a bag chaser. And we're going to live stream it. I'm going to drop the link in the description for you guys. It's already pinned to the top of the chat. Don't worry about it. I cannot believe that you guys are here on this Thursday and you're not even at work and you having a good old time. Some of y'all at work getting to the bag, but y'all having a good old time with me over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. Let's power through because let me tell you something. It's not just Diddy. Did y'all know that over 2,500 people have filed lawsuits against a lot of different people alleging as a part of this Survivors Act, that they were dealt with, touched improperly, so on and so forth. Exhibit A. The first person that we're going to evaluate, because it's not just one, these are just some of the most popular people that you are aware of. Cuba Gooding Jr. I'm not going to say Cuba. I'm going to say Cuba. Cuba, because let me tell you something. Cuba Gooding Jr. had some of the most iconic roles. Look at these great men. They have the most iconic roles in some of the movies that we love. Remember when Cuba Gooding Jr. had to get inside of that Navy diver suit, Navy master diver, and he had one leg cut off and he had to walk all the way across the floor in order to prove to the white man that was racist against him in that movie that he was more than capable of being a master Navy diver. And he overcame all obstacles. Remember when he tried to save Ricky over there in Boys in the Hood? Remember when Cuba tried to save Ricky over there in Boys in the Hood and he said, Ricky! And even though Lawrence Fishburne was sitting there with his meditation yin and yangs, and he was rolling it, and he thought that they was going to go out there and do something, and he was fighting because he couldn't get no sex from Nia Long and Boys in the Hood, and he was getting mad. And he looked at Ice Cube with his Jerry curl, and he said, hey, Doe, let me out. I said, let me out. And he got out the car. And he went home to his father's house. And Lawrence Fishburne just looked at him with the blood on his shirt. And then he went to his room. And the next morning, he was talking to Ice Cube and he said, yo, Doe, you still got one brother left. That's what happened. Next level, I'm going to read that super chat shortly. That's what happened. Do you know how iconic some of the roles that this man has played? And it's all coming crashing down. And you know why? Do you know why? Can you tell me why his entire empire is coming crashing down? Can anybody give me some insight and information as to why this man's entire empire is coming crashing down? Well, listen, I'm not going to wait for you to tell me. I'm going to share it with you. Cuba. The one who's Ice Cube's other brother that he got left after they took Ricky from him, faces not one, but 2 lawsuits that was filed against him prior to the Adult Survivors Act expired today. Yes, he did. Let me break it down for you people out here in these streets. They said he headed to court again and again. They said 2 women have filed lawsuits alleging the Freedom actor groped them in New York City in separate incidents in 2018 and 19. The lawsuits were filed Wednesday in New York Supreme Court under the state's Adult Survivors Act, which gives plaintiffs a temporary window to submit civil claims, civil, not criminal, civil, of sexual offenses. Shout out to you. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. That would otherwise not meet the statute of limitations. So you don't necessarily got to go to jail. You just got to send up that money, honey. The Adult Survivors Act expired today. The legal action is only the most recent for Gooding. In June, he reached a settlement, last-minute settlement before Puffy did it. He did it with the woman who accused him of raping her a decade ago and avoiding trial. In a 2018 lawsuit obtained by the Times, a woman said that while she was working as a cocktail waitress at Labo Restaurant and nightclub in New York, Gooding forced his tongue without her consent into her mouth. He opened up her mouth and he said, ah, there's some good food. Ah. Gooding pleaded guilty to a criminal forcible touching charge related to the incident last April in order to make it go away. The lawsuit filed Wednesday includes a portion of the transcript of Gooding's testimony from that litigation in which the judge asked him to describe what he did. He says, I kissed the waitress on the lips, he said, before confirming that he'd done it without her permission. All right. In 2019 filing, Kelsey Herbert said that she approached Gooding at the magic hour. The magic hour. Rooftop bar and lounge, hoping to meet the actor. She alleged that she had sat next to Gooding's girlfriend. Hey, what's up, baby? You see my girlfriend right here? The actor reached over and felt her thigh and her breast and said, so can you imagine my surprise when I saw a flash of movement and felt his hand on my breast, groping it and feeling around as if I was a piece of meat. Herbert filed a police report within a week of the incident. Gooding pleaded guilty again, and the civil lawsuit includes Gooding confirming that it was non-consensual physical contact at his hearing. Both women are seeking unspecified damages for assault and battery, lost wages, emotional and physical, mental injury, and attorney's fees. And Gloria Allred, who is representing the two plaintiffs, said in a statement, per Deadline, our clients were deprived of justice that they sought in the criminal case, and they are now seeking justice and accountability in the civil cases. We are proud and encourage and intend to vigorously fight for them until they win justice that they deserve. All right, now that's Cuba. That's Cuba. But Cuba ain't the only person. And it ain't just black people. I know y'all in the chat acting like, oh my God, it's only the black men. Black men everywhere, grabbing women everywhere. They continue to have a bad reputation because they don't know how to keep their hands to themselves. No, it's not just Cuba. Axl came through and said, Axl. And Axl is being accused of assaulting a former penthouse model and his lawsuit also. Do y'all know who Axl Rose is? Axl Rose has been entertaining the masses with rock and roll music for a long time. Shout out to Ronnie Robinson. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Let me bring y'all up to speed of what they accusing. They accusing Axl, the lead singer of rock band Guns N' Roses, accused of sexually assaulting a Penthouse magazine model in a lawsuit filed Wednesday. Just so happened to file it before Thursday. I know them clerks was busy. The model and actress Sheila Kennedy, identified as the plaintiff in the complaint, alleges that Rose violently sexually assaulted her in 1989. God damn it. I thought that Eric Adams had caught the bad end of the stick because he got accused of something that happened in 1993. You know how many women Axl Rose and Guns N' Roses band probably went through? You know how much cocaine they probably sniffed? You know how much weed they probably smoked? You know how much fentanyl is probably in their system? They probably can't even walk as good as they used to walk. But in 1989, this is, listen, man, listen. I'm not one to victim blame at all. 1989, that is 34 years ago. Now, my mental math may not always be correct, but it 33, 34 years ago. 34 years ago. Yo, in 1989, I was 7. I was 7. I was born in 1982, and in 1989, Axl was getting his feels on, or something was happening. I don't know, but let me tell you what she said. She said that he violently assaulted her in 1989 after they met at the New York City nightclub, and is suing the singer for battery, assault, and gender-motivated violence and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The lawsuit was filed on Wednesday with the New York State Supreme Court and was obtained by CNN. check this out. Suing for an unspecified amount. According to the complaint, the incident occurred when Rose was at the peak of his commercial success and alleges uses his fame and status and power as a celebrity and performer in the music industry to gain access to manipulate, control, and violently assault Kennedy. The complaint describes an incident that took place in a New York City hotel room. So wait a minute. Girl, you want to come to my hotel? Why? Now, I just have a question. It says that she alleged that that Rose, Axl Rose, who is now 61 years old, knocked on her door and then dragged her by her hair. Restrained her hands and proceeded to assault her while he was in a sexual volatile rage. Yeah. That she did not consent and felt overpowered. She understood that the safest thing to do was to lie in the bed and wait for Rose to finish. Said that as a result, Kennedy has suffered severe emotional, physical, financial, and psychological distress. We expect that Sheila Kennedy's decision to file this suit will be an important turning point for the music industry. We doing this for the music. We're not doing it for money. We're doing it for the music industry. We want justice from 1989 from the music industry. Said Dr. Ann, chair of the executive committee at McAllister Oliverius, said in a statement, her account is unfortunately all too typical of a culture of violence from these toxic masculinity men, and sexual misconduct has been allowed to exist in plain sight for decades. It's just the individual musicians stepping out of line, but an industrial system of enabling them and then covering up their misconduct and crimes, silencing survivors, and normalizing this nonsense. It said, we hope that Sheila's bravery stepping out 34 years later, helps other victims find their voice. Alan Gutman, the attorney for Axl Rose, shared a statement later on Wednesday saying, simply put, the incident ain't even, I don't even know this chick. It ain't never happened. This ain't never happened. Prove it. Prove it. Simply put, this ain't never, I ain't about to sit here and say this ain't never happened. It says, notably, these fictional claims were filed the day before the New York State filing deadline expires. Though he doesn't deny the possibility of a fan taking photos and passing, Mr. Rose has no recollection of ever meeting and speaking to the plaintiff and has never heard about these fictional allegations prior to today. Mr. Rose is confident this case will be resolved in his favor. Kennedy is an actress and a model who has appeared on the cover of adult magazine I was about to Google Kennedy, but I don't want to pull up Kennedy and then it shows some things that's a little bit unsavory and it's messing up my algorithm. I was just about to pull up Kennedy, but I didn't know that Kennedy was a Penthouse model. It says in 83. Man, she probably looked like a bag of bricks now. In 83, she was featured at Penthouse's Pet of the Year. Hold on, let me see if I can get something popping out here. I got to know who Kennedy is. I'm going to pull it up with another browser and see if we can pull this up. Kennedy. What's her name? I got to know. I just want to know who it is that's making these accusations. Sheila Kennedy. Shout out to Sheila Kennedy stepping up. Images. All right. Oh, wait. Sheila said, I was that girl. Who's that girl? Who's that girl? Is that Sheila? That can't be the new Sheila. No, I don't think that's the new Sheila. New Sheila Kennedy. Sheila was on Letterman too? All right, I got to share with y'all the photos. Give me a second. So this is Sheila on Letterman. That's Sheila back in 1983, 89. 83, 89. Shout out to Sheila. Sheila in the building. Sheila was in the building doing her thing. Shout out to Sheila. So Sheila was out here getting it. All right, I need to find Sheila. Is this Sheila Kennedy today? Oh, she was on Big Brother. Sheila today Sheila was on Big Brother. I did not know that Sheila was on Big Brother. So Sheila done had a few tans. Apparently she was on Big Brother. And she was an actress. Okay, Sheila. Sheila also got some pictures over here with Chippendales models. And then she getting some lingerie. She in some penthouse stuff. We don't want to pull up too much of Sheila Kennedy because Sheila might be messing up what it is that we got going on over there on YouTube. But that is the woman that allegedly is saying that Axl did some violent things. But listen, it didn't stop there. Among the 2,500 men who are being accused of sexual misconduct, according to the Survivors Act, Jimmy Iovine, somebody that we never thought that we would see out here in these streets, is shocked. Listen, Jimmy said, "I'm shocked and I'm baffled by these abuse allegations that's being alleged against me." All right? Hold on, Rolling Stone. I can't even read. Okay. All right. So Jimmy Iovine also is being accused, and he's shocked and baffled by the allegations. No need to go into it. I don't want to Google it and find any more of the story or anything like that. You guys get the picture. All right? And so what I'm telling guys on a regular basis is that you guys are not safe. You're not safe. Let me have this conversation with you really quickly. And then I'm going to read the super chats, and I'm going to get y'all out of here for the day. You are not safe. Okay? We are moving into, as much as you may hate it, as much as you may think it's unnecessary, maybe you don't think that you're big enough or you're famous enough to actually warrant to have to do some of these protections or put some of these protections in place. A lot of people are always saying, what are the benefits of marriage? And although I can name numerous financial benefits that come along with raising a child in a two-parent household. Shout out to My Name is Corey. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. I can name a lot of different benefits that come along with being married as far as the actual financial system that you can take care of or that you can take advantage of in order to, leverage up, level up, and become a better version of yourself, right? But the thing that we don't talk about when every guy says, well, what is the problem or what is the financial benefits of getting married? Part of it is that I don't have to worry about stuff like this. I don't have to worry about stuff like that. I don't have to worry about accusations. Now, accusations can be alleged in any situation, but you have a much better chance of not finding yourself in a situation where she said she drug you in a dark corner, especially considering that we got cameras everywhere today. And a lot of guys, they think that they are above the group. You think you special. You a special guy. You're a special guy, huh? You're special? Okay, cool. So how about this, Pumpkin? You special. We only know of about a good 5 or 6 famous people that has been accused, including Trump, Diddy, Jimmy Iovine, Cuba Gooding Jr., Axl Rose, and then some people are saying Marcellus Wiley. I will not say anything negative about Marcellus Wiley because I have his phone number in real life. And so I'm going to call Marcellus Wiley and I'm going to kick it with him and I'm going to have a conversation with him that is completely off the internet, because if I know you in real life and I have your phone number, I am never, and that's another thing. People were asking me, Anton, how come you're not mentioning Marcellus Wiley? Because I got his phone number. And so I'm going to call him and I'm going to ask him and see what's happening. And I'm going to call him out there in LA and I'm going to kick it with him and I'm going to see what's happening, right? Because when you know somebody in real life and their character seems to be up to speed and up to par, I cannot by default have a conversation about you outside of good faith before first having a conversation with you. That's just not how we roll over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. We don't throw people that we know in real life that we can speak to in real life under the bus. We're going to call him and have a conversation with him. And who knows, he's going through a legal dispute. He may not even be able to speak about it. But I'm definitely not going to have a conversation about him online when I can call him in person, because that's not what you do. When you have the phone number of people and you can kick it with them in real life, you don't have a conversation about them on the internet. So that's why, for those of you that are asking inside of the chat, why are you not actually including him in this? That is why. It's because I can call him in real life and have a conversation with him and see if, he need anything from me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's my guy right here. So I'll hit him up. I'll hit up M-Dub and see what's happening out here in these streets, and we're going to kick it. But outside of that, if you know of 5 or 6 different people that are famous that is getting accused, right? If there were over 2,500 lawsuits that were leveraged, then who do you think that the other 2,400 plus guys are? I'm not going to call them on the live stream. Who do you think that the other 2,400 guys are? They are guys of significance within their own lives, within their own professions. Some of them may have money. Some of them may not have money. Some of them may be regular guys. And some of them may be guys that obviously it's not true. And some of them it may be true. Who knows? But the one thing that I will tell you is that the other 2,400 people that are accused are just like you. And just because they have not necessarily opened up the laws or satisfied the people or feminist groups with opportunities to continue to take advantage of these remixed laws in the first place, does not mean at some point that they will not try to bring you to the front of the congregation, which is why you have to A, operate with the level of dick discipline, because you don't know how it's going to affect you in the best years of your life. And then B, you want to make sure that you don't put yourself in a position to then be taken advantage of, especially when you didn't do anything, for the guys that's not doing nothing. We're getting to a point where you're going to have to record and have them signed for consent for them to even be in your presence. I'm not even talking about doing nothing with them. I'm talking about for them to be in your presence for the possibility of something to happen. You're going to have to record getting a signature for consent, and if you don't want them to then say what's happening as far as your business and things that they observe that may not even be relevant to them and sharing it with people on the internet, you're going to have to also force them to sign a non-disclosure agreement, which also needs to emphasize that it's indefinitely, because even when you sign a non-disclosure agreements, a lot of them, they're only lasting for a certain amount of years before people can come out and say whatever it is that they want to say and then ruin whatever it is that you got going on. Check with your local law. Check with your local government. Check what's happening in your state. Do not take my word for it. I'm just giving you advice on what it is that I see, how I move, and not how I'm advising you to move. I'm just telling you what my life is like. Check with your local lawyers. Get with a good one. Make sure you get the right documents, and then make sure that you operate under those agreements accordingly, because I'm telling you, it sounds weird. Y'all told me that I was crazy, and I've been telling y'all this for years. It sounds weird, but you as a guy that who hasn't even begun to get to the spaces where you're supposed to be as far as your earning potential and your opportunities that's going to come before you, every single day, guys are getting out of jail for being accused for things that they didn't commit. If a woman can accuse a guy for something that happened in 1989, literally 34 years ago, almost 35 years ago, what makes you think that you're above it? If we don't start to have conversations about A, changing the laws, and then B, advocating against all of these things that are then putting you under duress, if you think that you're above the group, I have news for you. You will be one of the very ones that's asking for people to come to your aid and to make sure that they help you set up a legal defense fund, because you did not heed what it is that I'm telling you right now. Listen, I have been right way more than I've been wrong when it comes to the things that I am predicting that is going to continue to happen. It is going to be a standard. It is going to be a new standard. It's going to be something that your forefathers and the men of yesteryear and even the men of my generation never had to subject themselves to, as far as your sons and your grandchildren are going to. You're going to be having a conversation with your son and your grandchildren saying, hey, did you get her consent verbally, written, and on camera? Did you get her consent verbally, written, and then did you record it? Otherwise, you're going to find yourself under duress. Those are listen, if you don't start to listen to what I'm telling you, you're going to have a conversation in the future with your future sons and grandchildren about what consent is as far as how you're supposed to secure it from a woman before you can even have her in your presence in the first place. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it's getting to this point to where we are not even smart enough or wise enough, or we don't operate with a level of integrity. And let me be clear. I'm not saying that there's not guys that are taking advantage of women, because if they are, then so be it. You're going to have to face the consequences that come along with it. But what I'm saying is that when you are a stand-up dude and you are moving based off of how you're supposed to be moving, you still are not absolved from the possibility of something happening to you that you did not intend to happen in the first place, that you never even knew that it was coming and that it was going to hit you. What if you become successful, incredibly successful? What if you become famous? What if you blow up on YouTube? What if you make a whole lot of money and then you have somebody accusing you of doing something just so they can get a money grab, so that they don't ruin your reputation and mess up all of your opportunities that come along with it? Eric Adams had more than enough things on his plate, and now he got a chick from 1993 accusing him of something. And I don't think that Eric Adams have a chance in hell of being reelected in New York. I don't think that Eric Adams have a chance in hell of being reelected over in New York, as though he didn't have enough on his plate. Now he has a chick that filed a lawsuit at the very last minute based off of the Survivors Act over in New York from a 1993 alleged interaction that she's saying that he was touching her inappropriately and he did something to her that he probably didn't even do. Who knows? He has no chance in hell, in my opinion, of getting reelected in New York. People are already getting ready to run against him or run in his place. You are not above it. You are not above it. If you are not taking precautions and being very, very careful of not only who it is that you align yourself with, but if you think that you can just go out and have a drunk night and that be the end of it, you got another thing coming, buddy. You got another thing coming, buddy. Don't say that I didn't warn you. Don't say that I didn't tell you. I warned you. I told you on Thanksgiving in 2023 that you need to move a little bit differently, because it is not playing out the way that y'all thought it was going to play out over here in the United States of the Americas. Anton said it first. All right? Let me read some of the super chats, and I'm going to get y'all out of here early since it's Thanksgiving. Yes, we will be live streaming tomorrow morning. Next Level MF says, Bag Chaser for life. Why would anyone miss all this game and entertainment? I have no clue, big dog. But if you're not saying that this is the best show on the face of the earth and we move with a level of consistency that you can depend on no matter if it's a holiday or not, then you are missing out. Queen V in the building says, wonder if any men will file against women. Nope. 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 Chris Walker says, happy Thanksgiving to you and the family, AD. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. I'm going to come to Ash last because Ash is always holding me down. Bill DeBerg boy is in the building, says, happy Turkey Day to you and the family, AD. Just coming back off of a business trip in Rochester and Buffalo. I looked at some investment properties while I was in Rochester for the low, going back in February 2024 to make sure that he execute on that move. Shout out to Bill DeBerg boy that's continuing to get that bag, Ronnie Robinson says, good afternoon, Mr. Anton. Hope you and your family are well. Your dramatic reading deserves an Oscar. I want my 30 million. I want my 30 million. This is the best show on earth. Thank you, Ronnie Robinson. My name is Corey. Says, I was falsely accused 2 times, 2 chains in my life with undeniable proof presented both times. Can I go back and get my bag from the accusers? You should have been in New York, big dog. You should have been in New York. ISO What says, why do you advocate against marriage due to risks and you're benefiting from marriage? This is a good question. Let's answer this question, y'all. Let me reread it again just to make sure that y'all got it clear. Why do you advocate against marriage due to risks and you're benefiting from marriage, having a wife, kid, not kids, and family? There's risks to having sex. Why aren't you advocating against sex due to risks? Well, I do advocate against having sex outside of wedlock. I don't know, ISO What, if you're just now seeing this for the first time, but I don't believe that people should be having sex out of wedlock. I don't even believe that people should be dating. It's not that I advocate against marriage. I advocate against not being successfully married because there's a method to both. You can be great as a single person. You can be great as a married person. But I don't believe, based off of how the laws are set up today, that it is in a man's benefit to marry based off of what he then faces, especially when you are super successful, and that the terms of the agreement depend on where it is that you are in life. So every situation is different. And I think that every man needs to evaluate it based off of where he is in life, where he's going in life, and then also making sure that he's vetting effectively whether or not the person should be in his life in the first place. So it's not that I advocate against marriage, is that I advocate for, if you're going to be married, let me give you this game. And then I advocate for being successfully married, because there's a difference. There's so many people that are in sexless marriages, so many people that are under duress, so many people are regretting aligning themselves with somebody that they didn't vet based off of where they going, but vetted based off of where they at that particular time. It's so many men that are under duress being leveraged from the family court perspective as far as being used as a muse, and it's so many men that have children that they're taking care of that's not even theirs. There's a lot of guys that adopted a kid that they paying child support for that they never even had. It's too many different examples of different things that you can use as an example as to why there are risks that are not worth the reward for certain men to take, considering the circumstances that we face here in America, especially with regard to the family court laws. It's not worth it for some men. As a matter of fact, I'll do you one better. If I was single today, I cannot imagine ever getting married again. And it's not because I don't have a phenomenal life and a phenomenal wife, is that I understand the inherent risks that I'm not willing to take as a 41-year-old man that has accomplished all of the things that I've accomplished and be able to risk it with a woman that may or may not even be in my corner in the first place, that may be looking to finesse me. Why would I ever put myself in that situation? The only reason why I'm still married today, or why I got married in the first place, is because I got married young enough while I didn't have anything, and I actually found a woman that got up under my covering. Would I get married today as a 41-year-old man while I'm single and rich as hell and already raised my daughter, and I don't plan on having any more kids, considering what's happening with the family court laws today? I will never say never, but I highly doubt it. So to answer your question, ISO what? I am successfully married, and I think that there is a way to be successfully married. And for men that want to be successfully married or feel as though they found a woman that's worthy of where they're going, make sure you tap into me. Hit me up in an email, antondaniels413@gmail.com. Make sure you make her sign a prenup. And there is a method to being successfully married if you decide to take the risk. However, until we change the family court laws, I would like to see this question be reworded. I would like for you to reword this question and ask the question, why are women unwilling to sign prenuptial agreements and think that love is enough, considering that we know the statistics behind that? Why are women advocating against updating the family court laws if they're so in favor of marriage, but then at the same time they advocate for equal in everything? Why are women then asking to be a partner or to have a partner instead of finding a husband, right? We have to evaluate it on all sides, not just from the perspective of the man, because you can't keep asking a man to make the concessions and take on a risk with none then levied against the woman. If there's going to be risk, there needs to be equal risk on both sides, not just one way. Why are you not asking the question holistically, but you're just asking a question as it pertains to men, right? When you start asking a question of women and ask them to take equal risk as it relates to this thing, because if the only thing that you bring to the table is peace and femininity, but then you asking me to take all of the risk as a result of it and hope that you maintain and stay the woman that you're supposed to be, continuing to take this journey for the rest of my life, I think that we need to re-ask the question and then also levy the risk on your side just as much as it is on the man. And as long as you continue to advocate updating the family court laws, stop asking me why I won't take the risk as far as continuing to get married to you. Hopefully that answers your question. Hopefully that answers your question. It's not that I'm against marriage. I'm against marriage based off of what you think marriage is in Western society today. So thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Brock says, Pastor Love offering. Happy Thanksgiving to the entire congregation. Love y'all, fam. Everyone give thanks and always be grateful for your blessings. Thank you, Brock. Thank you, Brock. Somebody said homosexuality and gay marriage is on the rise. Did you know that Their divorce rates are above 75% now that we have the statistics to actually be able to have that conversation. See, y'all don't want to really have the conversation. Y'all don't really want to have a conversation in truth, but we'll get there. Marriage, Politics, and Sports says, Anton, how in the hell did all the men let a law like that pass? Pearl man for point about women voting. Well, it was a woman governor that actually signed it into law. And women are largely the ones that's determining the elections today. So it's a crazy statistic. So what says men made all the laws. Men say they are used against them when it comes to family court, marriage, etc. How do you explain that? Well, these laws were created at a time where women didn't even have the ability to vote. If you would like to debate with me, I'll make a little bit of time for you, and I'll drop the link in the chat if you just want to debate. Here, I'll do you a favor. I'll give you 5 minutes to be able to get your rocks off if you want to. You don't even have to be on camera. All you got to do is call in, and I'm going to give you an opportunity. That's just for you, So what? That ain't for nobody but So what? If you want to have this conversation with me, let's have a conversation. We made these laws at a time where women couldn't even vote. They didn't even have the ability to be able to go and get the jobs that they have. But now that we have equal everything, why do you think that the laws should not change? And then why are women the ones that are determining the lawmakers that are now advocating against these same laws? I'll give you 5 minutes to be able to come on camera. Shout out to So what? Let me answer your next question. Says if men want to be leaders, we don't want to be leaders. We are leaders. Of the relationships in marriage, why do you expect women to take equal risks as men? Because women advocated for equal. You advocated for equal. See, we don't want to be leaders. We are leaders. But part of leadership is also understanding what it is that we don't want to do and then making an informed decision as a result of it. Part of leadership is being proactive, not reactive. You keep expecting us to be under the thumb. We don't want to be leaders. That's what God ordained us to be. But see, we are dealing with a rebellious woman that decide that they don't want leadership. And now that's why you see our community so messed up. We are dealing with a rebellious woman that have a spirit that do not want to actually do the thing that's in their best interest. And that's why you see so many women having children out of wedlock. That's why you see our laws in our country continuing to fall apart. That's why you see people advocating and voting based off of how they feel instead of what's best for the country. I dropped the link in the chat for you if you want to come up here and express your thoughts. I got time today. Prince Elian is in the building, says Adam screwed himself when he called out Biden over the illegal immigrants in NYC. He went off script, so the Dems are putting him back in his place. I agree. I got time today. Key Vision says, happy Thanksgiving, Anton. Can't wait to have a conversation with you. I'm 23 years young, and I'm married. I love being a provider for what I want. Shout out to you, big dog. I appreciate you. My girl Randy is in the building, says, happy Thanksgiving, Anton and the Daniels family and the Chasers. Hey, make sure y'all tap into the Chasers. Link is in the description for y'all to be able to tap in with the Chasers. Hey, So what? The link is down there. You could just call in. You don't even have to jump on camera. Shout out to Randy. I love my Randy. Shout out to Randy. Out there getting it. Yosef Wartall says, what you think about polygamy relationships? I believe there are more benefits than negative. I believe you can't even handle the women that you got. Why you want to get into a polygamous relationship? You're not doing it for reasons outside of sex. That's nonsense. Very few men can handle more than one woman. So what says, if you're leaders, why aren't you changing the laws men created that work against men instead of expecting women to advocate for laws to change? Well, if you want to cam up or not cam up, if you want to call the show, I can explain it to you a little bit more in depth. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you for the fireball. I appreciate you for donating to the platform, though. The link is in the description for you to be able to call in and say exactly what you feel. Ash is in the building with the 50 ball on Thanksgiving, says, happy Thanksgiving to UAD, Rita, and family. Just got home off the road from trucking this morning. You getting that bag, Ash. Says, to spend time with my lovely Victoria. We got you on the big screen as we prepare our Thanksgiving meal. Shout out to the Chasers. Said, we love you, brother. Keep rocking out. Hey, Ash, I love you too, bro. I love you too. Oh, I love you too, Ash. Thank you, my friend, for continuing to support me and what we do over here. Like I said, I didn't expect for 1,500, 1,600 plus people to even tune into the live stream today because it's Thanksgiving. But I'm very thankful for you guys for rocking out with me. Darren Jones came through with the 20 ball. Let me give some acknowledgement to Darren Jones real quick. Darren Jones says, why do they always forget women ask for the current 50-50 setup? 50-50 isn't. You know the thing about it, and this is the thing that I want to emphasize to ISO what, is y'all advocated for this, and all we saying is, okay, you can have it. You can have it. We just not stopping you from doing what you want to do now. We're not stopping women from having children out of wedlock. We not stopping y'all from having to deal with. See, it's another side to that y'all not. No, don't block ISO. Do not block ISO. They just have a disagreement. Nobody is being disrespectful. They not being disrespectful, so do not block them. Do not time them out. They are fine. We do not time people out over here that just disagree with us. Here's the other side of it, ISO. Now, because y'all asking us to stop y'all or stop from what it is that's best for you or what y'all thought was best for y'all, but is actually bad. Here's the other side of it, though. Now you got men infiltrating women's sports, and they saying they identify as men and women, and they beating y'all asses and they breaking y'all records. Now you have the ability to go and have a bunch of children out of wedlock, but you are the ones that are most in duress, and you still make less than the men even though you advocated for equal. Now you're complaining about men not protecting women when you are saying that you are good enough to protect yourself because you wanted to be equal to us. What more do you want from us? All we're saying is we're not stopping you from doing what you want to do. That's it. There's no disagreements here. Do what you want to do when you want to do it. Shout out to Darren Jones. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you for holding me down. All right, listen. Anton from AntonDaniels.com. Want to make sure that I go and spend a little bit of time with my family, with my daughter on this Thanksgiving, and make sure that I have a good time. Listen, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Let me read a couple of the more super chats. I guess ISO didn't want to come up here. Aaron Wolf says, 5 black men accused of essay in a week. I'm about to tell girls 6 feet like they got COVID. Man, keep all of the proof and stay to yourself, matter of fact. Facts. That's a fact, Aaron Wolf. I agree with that. Way more than 5. 2,500 total. Impact says the fact that you still working, it provides value and demonstrates your results and blessings. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I got to be the example. I'm not going to tell you guys that you need to be grinding and getting it and you don't see me doing it. All right? Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Thank you to everybody that supported me and all of the people that's still here, even at the end of this show. Hopefully you guys see some value in what it is that we having a conversation about. We will be live streaming tomorrow morning on a Friday morning, and make sure you tune in. Tell your family and friends. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you have not already, get that Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I love you. I appreciate you. I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. Marcus came through and says, appreciate you, Tom Dog, and thank you for all that you do. Thank you, my friend. And say hello to the missus out there for me, Marcus, all right? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm out of here. Peace.